I'm Darryl Cope. I'm the UK Consumer Operations Director for Stilts Home Lifts. One of the biggest reasons that I joined Stilts was because the product itself genuinely helps people. Aside from that, through different conversations with the shareholder directors, I think of my values and their values align. The values and the culture of myself and the business align as well. And that, you know, that's a big driving factor behind my choice of coming to Stilts. So the UK Consumer Ops Director role is really important to the business. So from the point of the sales guys handing over to the tech survey guys, and we get the structural engineers out into the properties. From that point there, we go through the entire journey of a lift, the process. So to the builders, the schedulers, the installers, the breakdown teams, the service and engineering teams, all that way, all the way through to customer service, all comes under that remit. So it's absolutely critical to the business because arguably it's 70–80% of the business. And I think that was recognised in my appointment. Stilts put a new level into the structure into the UK for the first time. So I think it's heavily recognised that this is a really important role for the business. And you know, ultimately it's down to me to kind of perform within that role. So what skills do I bring to Stilts? I started life out kind of on the tools really, and working for a family business, going through to kind of putting a shirt and tie on and being in the warm, dry environment of management, and working through businesses in that way within the house building construction sector. I've spent arguably the last 10 years either sat around the boardroom or as a director of a business, so understanding the mechanics and the operating a business level point of view is a key skill set for bringing to the table. Management of people and being able to communicate from the boardroom through the business, through the middle management, through to the builder's assistants is critical to this role as well. And I think that's something that I effectively do really well. So the new aims for the new role, effectively looking at what we've got as a structure currently, so working with the management team, getting the right people in the right places, the right structure, the right processes, and ultimately looking at scalability of the business. You know, we've got a really great business model. We're really successful at what we want to do. The aim of the board now is to grow the business sustainably. And I think standing back and looking at what we've got in place now and saying instead of the volume that we do today, we double or triple the volume. Are we sustainable to do that? That's a big thing. That's a big a big project that's happening at the minute. I think being able to streamline the customer process. So we're very good at what we do. Again, we're very successful, but ultimately in any business, there's always elements of being able to make small incremental improvements, which ultimately affect the customer journey. So I think the highlight so far has to be the culture and the values that everybody within Stilts kind of lives and breathes for, really. And I think the most powerful kind of story that I've come across, which was in week one, was with regards to a lift that we installed for a lady that had dementia, and she'd not lived upstairs for the last 6 years. Her husband had the lift installed. We went through the whole process of getting the lift into place, and at the point of handing the keys over and commissioning it and instructing the consumer how to use the lift, everybody I think in the room tried to encourage and say, do you want to get in the lift? And she didn't want anything to do with this lift at all. It was a foreign object in the house. And I think one of the install managers kind of said, well, if I got on the lift and you got on the lift, do you reckon we could go up together and we can get upstairs together, kind of thing. And she did. She jumped in the lift, and they went upstairs, and the in-store manager left her like a child in a sweet shop, up and down in this lift. It's a new toy now. It's you know, she'd really made a connection with it. The in-store manager came downstairs. He walked down the stairs, and on the bottom step, her husband was sat there absolutely sobbing. And he said, you okay? Is that, you know, everything okay? He said, yeah. He said, not only she's not been upstairs for the last 6 years, but that's the closest anybody's ever got to her. You know, you've just done a lift with her, and she won't allow people anywhere near her. And so listening to stories like that, it's so powerful what the product can do, and what we're achieving at Stilts. It's really, really powerful. So I think our lifts are a game changer. They're a game changer within the industry. Nobody else has got anything like it. It is what it is. It's a Stilts lift. You know, ultimately this lift can go anywhere within the home, middle of the room, outside of the room, wherever it may be, in a void. So they self-support themselves, you know, which is unique. The biggest game changer for Stilts lifts is ultimately they give back independence and mobility around the property for the consumer. You know, going back to kind of listening to the guys in the field and the great stories that come back about how we've genuinely impact people's lives. You know, not just through disability, but through mental awareness, health, different health conditions. We've impacted a lot of people. So going back to our vision and values of the company is ultimately democratising home lifts. So in effect, you know, back in the 1980s when people didn't know what dishwashers were, we brought them into houses, you know, put your hands in the sink and just wash dishes, you know, it's the same thing. You know, ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to get away from the worries and stress of people thinking about how they're going to get up the stairs. You know, ultimately this is part of that journey. This is part of that, being able to mobilitise people throughout their own homes, for people to be able to stay in their homes, the family home that they've had children in, that the whole family comes and visit at Christmas. We've not got to move out just because we can't get up the stairs. We can genuinely stay in that house, and that is the family house, with the Stilts lifting, with the furniture in the corner, that at Christmas the grandkids can be supermen in, up and down. But ultimately every day that's a key function, that's part of life.